As for another round of our Speedy Beginner's Guide to Mambo merch. This month in office hours, Cynthia's going to be showcasing some of the new features included in our latest 2.0 release that is currently available to download within the AppExchange. Today is Thursday, September 14th, and we thank you for joining, and thank you, Cynthia, for doing this. Take it away.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. While doing that, I want to let you guys know that the version that I am on is going to be 2.0.4, still a part of the summer release, just that's the version that we're going to be looking at. It's the latest one in the AppExchange right now. Okay. All right. So when you're using Mambo Merge, it's real simple to get started. We don't have to put in an app. We don't have to do anything too wild to get it onto our pages. All we have to do is go ahead to our record page of the object that we want to be merging from. I'm going to do it from my contacts. And we go up to this gear icon in the top right. A drop down appears, and we want to select Edit Page. And from here, we'll be able to add the Mambo Merge component itself. And we can add it anywhere. We can add it to any object, whether it is standard or custom. Let's see, if I scroll down to the bottom, you'll see Custom Manage, and I can grab it and drag it wherever I like. I could put it here, but I like to keep everything a little bit organized. So I'm going to go to my tabs, now add a tab, and we'll make it custom. I'm going to name it Print. And we'll hit done on that. Then I go over to my tab, and I'm going to take my Mambo Merge component and put it inside there, just so that I can have it nice and neat. Nothing's changing too much. We do have these components that appear on the right-hand side. They change when you select on different items. As you saw, that's how I added my tab. We'll come in and check these out in a bit. I want to show you how easy it is to just use it right this way. We just put it on our page, and it's good to go. So back on my contact page for Abigail Guy, and I have a template that I want to use already. I already built the template, but from this point, you can build your template. We don't have to do anything. On the right here, we have Studio, Template Builder, and Support. Template Builder is Mambo Merge already looking at the record and trying to figure out what fields we have, which are listed right here. These are the merge fields, and this is how you would put it into your template. And then here is the values on the right. And this is super helpful, because what if I did want created date, but I put created by ID on accident, thinking it would give me the right thing? I can confirm here that they are different. I mean, knowing by the names, I probably know that they're not the ones I want, and created date would give me the right one. But just in case I did type in the wrong one, I could go here, check it, and see, oh, nope, this one is the one that's going to give me what I need. Another thing that is in the template builder that we can see is these special functions. These guys right here, they tell us how to put in the special functions. The special functions do different things. Image, it's going to output an image. Lower is going to change the merge field data and make everything lowercase. And then there is upper, down at the bottom here, does exactly the opposite, makes everything uppercase. And then a couple more of these guys do a whole bunch of other things. They're really helpful when you're building out your template. But when you're first starting, I recommend just checking out these merge fields and knowing what you're going to be doing with them. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pull up the template that I'm going to drop into Mambo Merge right now. And you can see I have a special merge field here, image, and in it I've put in my actual merge field name. So it's just right there in these parentheses. Another example of a special merge field is here with upper. That's going to output this account name, all uppercase. And then one that is not displayed here, but that is talked about on our support page, is our conditional. You can see, if true, that I have a mailing street that's not empty. go ahead and put the mailing street for me. Otherwise, don't do it. This is not really that important for this situation, but in a situation where maybe you have mailing or shipping or billing, you know, different mailing labels that you want it to use, you would probably want to only output one, and you could probably have it decide if it's going to put out all of them. As I mentioned, there's an image for special function right here. And then we have our special function for upper account name. And then we have this conditional here that's checking if mailing street is empty or not. And if it's not empty, please put in the mailing address. And what's great about that is if there was no mailing address, I don't have this mailing address label here sitting empty. It'll not populate here. So we see my lovely Abigail guy right here with their picture. And if I scroll through, that's it. There's nothing I had to do. I just dropped this in, and I could do it for any of them. So we'll go ahead and close this, and we'll go back to my page. Now, you don't want all of your employees to have the template on there unless it's beneficial to how the workflow is happening. So how do I set this so this always knows which file I want? Well, we'll go back to that edit page, and we'll be adding the details there. But we can do it two ways first. We can save the file into our org, get the file ID, or we can create what are called routines. And that's in the studio right here. Studio holds all your routines right here. This is where you can create new ones, or you can edit the current ones you have. I already have one made for this. It's called contact, and it's set to the contact object. It's set to display buttons. And then I wrote myself a little description so I knew what it was later on if I ever forget. And it says single record, visitor contact sheets, and mailing labels. So this is exactly what I want. I'm going to go ahead and we'll just copy the name here, contact ID. I can't highlight it, but it's not a difficult thing to remember. So we'll go ahead and close it. And we'll go back up here to that gear icon, edit page. And as it loads, it's not available only in the Pro, which we call our full speed edition. It's also available in our fundamental. That's one level above our free edition. So I go back to my print, and I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to put in contact. And then if I click somewhere before even hitting save, you can see it already updates it for me. One thing to note, it says template ID. The reason that is if you were using our free edition, you can't add a routine here, but you can add, again, the file ID of the template. So if you just have one template and you type it in here, the file ID, it will generate a button here, but your button won't be able to be customizable like I've made this one. It'll just say merge. So if you want to be able to customize it, the full speed and the fundamental do have that option with having access to the studio. So we went ahead and save. We'll go back. We'll go back to our print page, and I'll select it. It's going to be the same file I created, except now, you see this? My file is named different. So when I downloaded that, I had to come up with a name real quick. Here I was able to change it up. That was also something I did in the routine. I was able to name the file that's going to get generated, and I can make it dynamic to each person. So I can have everybody, if I go to somebody else, we'll even go real quick to somebody else. We'll go to Ashley James here. We'll print out for Ashley James, and you'll see my file saves dynamically to Ashley James also. We'll go ahead and look at Ashley James's file. Just so you guys can see, Mambo Merge does it all for me. I don't have to change it. Ashley James doesn't have a photo, but I don't have to worry about this code appearing there. Mambo Merge already removes it for me, making it simple. It's going to save time. All right. So what's another thing that we can do with Mambo Merge? We can do multiple records at a time. To do that, we would be doing it with the studio again. So we'll go to studio. And you can see that I have this one called Contact List View. We'll go ahead and click here. And with this Contact List View here, we can see on the first page of making any routine, you get an option to choose your primary Salesforce object. If you're on the page of the object that you're going to be merging, it's real simple. Mambo Merge assumes that's the one you have and selects it for you. But if for any reason you're on a different page, you can go ahead and close that, and then it'll give you this search option. And you can start typing in, and you can see I type in 2 letters already. It's checking common objects. But if I was trying to get to a custom object, 3rd letter, and I can keep typing away until I type the full name if I wanted to, but it'll start to search for everybody. And that is how you can find all those different objects if you're not on the page itself doing all of these. Then this is going to be the record selection here. So we did a single record with that other routine that I put onto my component in the first place. That's pretty simple. It's just going to do one record. Mambo Merge doesn't have to figure out anything for me. But I'm going to choose this from flow. Now what this means is I'm going to use a flow that we have directions for. It's real simple, nothing too complex. Most admins can build it out. And it will allow you to choose which records you're choosing from the list view. So this is the option that I'm choosing. We also have record where. This is going to be a set parameters that we choose for Mambo Merge to always select those records for me. So if I have opportunities and I want all my closed opportunities, it'll always look for those that match that setting. And then from reports, this is going to use reports that you've built in. These work for account, opportunity, contact, and cases. And you can pull the merge data from the report. You won't be able to get anything else unless it's included in your report. So it's more of if you have data that you are particularly already set with that you want to build something off of. So for this one, from Flow, we're going to go to the next one. It goes to relationships. Now relationships, these are a part of full speed. They're not a part of fundamental or a free. What this page is doing is looking up lookup fields and related lists. So a lookup field for this would be, in this case, you can see I have one for opportunity. So it's going to look up the opportunity, and I can decide on which fields I want to add in. The other option is a related list. I could go to related list, and I could select a related list that I want to add in here. I don't need any of these right now, but a good example would be if I was an opportunity, I could do my contact roles, my opportunity line items, things like that. So anything you have more of attached to one. And you can see up here, just a little reminder we put in is lookup field is 1-to-1. So opportunity to account, contact to opportunity, and vice versa. It'll go like that. And related list 1-to-many. So moving on, the next page is merge data. So this is kind of like the template builder that I showed earlier, where Mambo Merge is already reading everything that's on the record, but now it's also reading the relationships that we set up. So if I wanted to, I could scroll down and I could find that it was looking for the opportunity, but it's also using the record that I'm on. This record doesn't have an opportunity set to it, so I can't. There's nothing for it to show, so it's not going to show me. But if I had put in any related list or stuff like that, it'll go in. And you can also see it's already looking at stuff that's slightly related, but it's already going to pick up for me. So account, I can find account information here. And these other ones that drop down, open and provide more. So we'll go on to our next one. And this would be a great stage once you start building your more complex templates to be on this page before you move here, because this is where you're going to add the template. Now here, because we are selecting multiple records at once, you can see a lot is happening. So I have my labels here. This is the name of the template. This is the name of the label that appears here. And you can see that's listed right here. This is also the button that appears on Mambo Merge that I'll be selecting. Here is the name of my template. I can also preview my template if I want to. So we'll pull that up. A little slow. There it goes. It's the template that I was talking about before and that we were using. You'll see. And the destination. So I can choose to attach to a record, save it to the library, save it to a library as a zip, attach it to a specific record. There are a lot of options on this one. Now you'll see this one right here, he has less options. Why is that? That's because of these merge types at the top. This one is one document per record, so every record is going to have its own file. This one is I'm taking every record and putting it on one document, but they're all on their own page. Then if we scroll down, I have this other one here. He's my mailing labels. So this is going to be multiple records per page. So what this is, it'll be easier if I show you the preview of the template. You'll see. So I'm going to have each record appear as a label for a sticker to be put on mailing. So these are like little mailing shipping labels that I'm creating here. And every 10 records that I have, it's going to go through and fill this out. And it'll repeat this page until it's gone through every opportunity, not every opportunity, every record that I've selected. So if I've selected 20 contacts, I'm going to have 2 pages. And I can change how many appear on the page. If I needed these labels to be bigger and I only have 6 labels here, you can change the template to correspond to that and all your other needs. And that also has different limited destinations to save. But we'll go over real quickly. This one is going to be my record for individual record, individual document. And it's going to be attached to each record. So everybody gets their own little visitor sheet contact. I've named it here with, this is the file name that generates. You see I've used merge fields in here. So this is how I was getting that dynamic name put into the file's name. And then going lower, you can see each one is slightly different. So each of them have their own like idea that's happening. This guy right here is very special. Output merge data. He's going to take all that merge data that you saw and output it into a spreadsheet for me. It's not going to be pretty. It's not something that you would use day-to-day work, but it's a great way of troubleshooting files, knowing if something's missing, seeing where things are not matching up quite, or transferring the data somewhere else. All right, so going on to the next page after we've filled out our templates, put in where they're going, put in what they're going to be named when they are generated, we have our backup dancers. Backup dancers are going to help us with our whole routine because we're doing a Mambo merge. And so here you can add these post-merge actions that your dancers will do. Now, they can do several. If I select add, I can update a record, save a task, or send an email. Update a record, we would just select our field that we want to update. For example, level might change. And instead of primary, I would set it to secondary. And so every time this merge is done, it will select the record that has been merged on, will update to do the change. The other one is save a task. I would set my subject that's going to appear in the activities and what status it's in. And if it needs a due date, I can set how many days out I need it to be done from this merge. Then there's also send an email. You can type out the email here. In this case, this one is all the records being added into one file. So I might not want to send that to everybody. But if I was going to send it to the individual visitor sheets where I'm making a record individually for everybody, it does look a little bit different. It already chooses the email for me because it knows that this is a contact and it's going to go to a contact person. And so it's going to send everybody an individual email with their file. Here, it's not automatic. I have to type in where I'm sending all of this data together. So there's a little safety there so you never accidentally send it to the wrong people. We'll go ahead and delete these two. Just want to keep these guys, and we're going to go onto this page. On this page, what we're doing is we're doing the routine ID. This is the name of your ID or your routine. And this is how you're going to tell Mambo Merge component which one to assign to it. The description is also going to, it's not needed, but it helps you, like I said, remind you what these are doing later on. I always tend to forget after making so many, and you have 50 of them in there. They're all slightly named the same. It helps to know exactly what they're doing. Here we can decide on the different types of buttons we're going to be doing, because we're doing a multiple record merge, and with an output of the merge data, we're missing one of our options. It's a thumbnail. I'll show you that real quick on another page. But these options are buttons, drop down, which is drop down, and then I select it and then I hit merge, or radio and I click it and hit merge also. So we go to button, we'll save it there, we'll hit save. Now I mentioned this is already attached to a flow that I've already built. And there is directions available through us to build that flow, but I can select all the fields that I want. If I wanted to select everybody, I hit visitor sheets. It loads up. I can do my individual, or I can do my print to everybody, print of everybody in one document. It goes for a bit, and already it wants to let me save. I can open that. And we can see here is my Abigail guy, first person in there. Already it's going through adding everybody for me all on individual pages. We'll take a quick look at the visitor label maker. All right, save that. And you can already see everybody's got their address with their name, ready for me to print this out on a sticker sheet, smack it on my packages, and they're good to go. All right, so that we still have time for questions, I'm going to end it there and give it back to Jesse.
Thank you very much for that, Cynthia. And there was a question on the chat that just came in between, and I asked to go ahead and hold it off. There is an example here discussing pricing information. So regarding the pricing, we cannot directly, we have to kind of connect with the sales team to go ahead and help provide some pricing, but we can elaborate more in terms of the use case that you provided there. The one thing about Mambo Merge that does benefit over some of the other .gen apps is you don't need to have a license for every single person that's using the service. It's just the people that need to actually generate documents. So in the example you provided there, Brian, if those 15 individuals need to actually trigger an action through a button or through some sort of sequence that they're going through a record, then those users would actually need to require a Mambo Merge license to go ahead and be able to use to generate the documents themselves. However, though, if out of those 15, you only need, for example, like a third of those, or maybe even just a handful, only those individuals would be the ones that actually need to have a license, a Mambo license, because they're the ones who will be generating the documents. So there are nonprofit discounts if you are part of a nonprofit. Our sales teams will be more than happy to connect with you to provide you a breakdown of pricing and stuff. But I want to iterate that our model is based off users actually engaging with the tool in terms of triggering to generate those documents. So it's different than some of the other apps where they actually require you to have a license for every single user that you have in your org. So I hope that helps shed a little bit more light, and we're happy to pass on over your contact information, which is your email, to go from there to help elaborate more on that.
And I
we
want
have
to
a
add
question.
one more thing real quick for Brian. When you download Mambo Merge into your sandbox or your production org, you get 30-day trial already turned on. So you might as well download it, give it a little bit of test drive. You'll get 10 licenses with your trial. So it won't cover everybody, but it'll get a good number of your users in there. Maybe the ones that are going to be the ones to build the templates and test them out. But you can always email us at sales@MamboMerge or support@mambomerge.com if you have a support question, and then we'll be able to help you.
There's a question here on the queue. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, so just to confirm, if my template is trying to grab data that the user doesn't have access to, how does that populate on the finished template?
So when MamboMerge cannot find data for a merge field, it just does a quick erase of the merge field so it's blank. You won't see merges still being in there. That was a mouthful of merging. But yes, the data, if it's not accessible for them, they won't see anything in the end result. It'll just be blank. There are features to add a default value. That's a way to get in a value if you still need something to appear, even if the user that's going to be merging can't see that data. That might help. One of my favorite things is to add in description is not available. So when my merge goes through and it can't find any data for that field and it says description not available, I know that I didn't have access to it, and I've set that as my default value of that merge.
Awesome, thank you.
Welcome.
Any more questions? Those were really good questions there. Coming up. And I guess one of the mentions is on one of those examples you showed, some of the images weren't populating on the results there for that continuous merge document combine. I'm assuming that if there is no image linked to that record, then chances are or that image doesn't exist, then nothing is going to populate for that
Right.
part.
And that goes with that data that if they don't have access to it. So that was a great example of it not happening, because you don't want Mambo Merge to leave you with extra stuff. You want that space to close up and not fill in with anything, so that your documents appear smooth without any issues.
Gotcha. Any more questions from anyone? Want to make sure we keep it here under that 30 minutes. I know people might have other meetings right after this one. So, okay. So if there's no further questions, then I'll go ahead and get this back here. We do want to thank everyone for joining. And if you do think of questions 10 minutes after this call, as it happens, feel free to send them our way. Our next office hours webinar is scheduled for Thursday, October 12th. So follow us on social media or email us to add you to the list. Thank you, Cynthia, for running us through this and answering questions. Thank you, folks, for asking questions, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.